archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I am your host, Patricia Baker, and I'm here with my lovely co-host all the way from Tucson, Miss PK. How are you tonight?
Absolutely fabulous. It's a perfect day. Cool, breezy, yet still warm. I have the house opened up. That makes it feel good. I get spoiled every once in a while.
It was actually very nice here in New England today.
Well, see, God's sprinkling it around, making sure everybody's okay.
Well, we deserve it. We deserve it. We had the worst long winter I've ever lived through. It was terrible. So it's nice. We both enjoyed it.
Any day as cold is too long.
You're not kidding. Oh, goodness.
That is for sure. That is for sure.
We have two fabulous guests coming up in a couple of minutes. We have David Starr, and we also have Francesca Rose, and they're going to tell us all about our higher power. So I'm ready. I'm ready to be powerful. I know you are too.
But you think it's about time? I mean, I've been waiting all this time.
I know. How old do we have to be? Anyways, they're going to join us in just a couple of minutes. But first, we need to find out from you what the numbers are telling us. What's going on?
Well, the nicest part, let's just take a look at it. There's 1 day left in this month. And then the 4 month, which is nose to the grindstone, everybody dumping on us, all these things that we need to take care of, feeling like we're a jack in the box, ends. Because May is all about major changes, good to bad, bad to good, but change nonetheless. Do be careful, though, as soon as May hits, when you're driving, don't put pedal to the metal to the nth degree. Remember, there's other people on the road, too. Everything is going to be about speed, doing things in a hurry, fresh starts, new beginnings, making changes. So it's going to be fun and it's going to be interesting, but also gives us an opportunity to feel a little bit of freedom. This 4 month has had everybody by the backside.
Yeah.
I'm being nailed to my chair. I want to get up and run and play.
Well,
it's my turn.
Ready. I'm ready.
If I say it often enough, I'll believe it. It's my turn.
It is your turn. Absolutely. Yeah. And mine too. And we're going to find out how to work with these energies maybe a little differently.
Yes.
So that we can manifest exactly what we want and be open to all these exciting new energies coming our way in this new month. So let me tell you about our guests, okay? We have with us, as I mentioned, David Starr and Francesca Rose. They have a book called Your Higher Power, Accessing Your Divine Gifts, which we need to know how to do this. Our audience needs to know how to do this, right?
Yep.
And the book talks about how to overcome limiting beliefs and heal past traumas, which is so important. So David is the principal author, and he is a leading voice in spiritual consciousness and energy mastery. His courses, such as the Master's Journey and Spiritual Hygiene, have helped countless individuals unlock their potential and live fulfilled lives. His innovative Divine Ray app connects users to high vibration content, fostering spiritual growth through an inclusive, uplifting community. We can all benefit from that. Now, David's journey began with a life-altering childhood near-death experience. And we're going to hear all about that, and we're going to hear all about Francesca Rose's journey as well. So both of you, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us. And honestly, Francesca is the one who came to me and channeled the book. And because it's something that I've taught for many years, and I read the chapters, and it was the most amazing journey to go and co-author the book with her. And so it's perfect time right now to get into your higher powers, actually, with the energies that are incoming.
We're ready. We are going to sit at your feet, both of your sets of feet tonight, and listen to what you have to say. But I do want to start, David, with your near-death experience as a child. Can you tell us what happened?
Brother threw me into the wall, 144 stitches, flew out of my body into the celestials. All of a sudden, I'm the star consciousness and being shown my life. It was like I was brought back before I came onto the planet. And I was shown the first 20 years. Of
Hmm.
course, I was 10 years old at the time, so I knew all that stuff. There's just memories like parents, friends, places, and people and pets and all these things being displayed that I was going to experience. It wasn't everything, but there was hundreds of screens and memories being shown to me. And they were playing continuously throughout those years, so that they would change the screens and the pictures and the people and the places. And then by the time I got 20, a male voice said, um, asked me if I wanted to accept this life. And I remember saying, or I heard myself say, "Well, that looks pretty tough." And then he said, "Well, it gets better after 20." So I said, "Okay,
Amazing.
all right." And was true, and it was that 10 to 20 period. It was pretty brutal for me, but I was always in deja vu, and it opened up the ideas of more than one life at such a young age, part of celestial star consciousness connections, and these mysteries that I didn't know. And it also all of a sudden it just opened me up, and so I'd had this sort of like guiding voice, like so I had a male and I had a female guiding voice throughout that period growing up to support me through the difficult times. So that was nice.
That is quite a story. But what in the world possessed your brother to do what he did?
Mhm.
We grew up, we didn't have a lot of food. We were down, it was the last bowl of soup. So it was over food.
Oh my God. And how did he threw you against the wall and you ended up
He
with a
threw
hundred?
me over his shoulder. I went flying like Superman. Yeah,
Oh God.
yeah.
Jeez. What a horrible thing. Are you and your brother, have you made peace with all of that?
Well, we told my mom that it was because I slipped on soup. So forever, my mom didn't know. And then when we got into our adults, then we told her the truth yeah. But no, we're close. Our family loves each other. We've grown together, not apart. So
Well, that's
That's a
good.
miracle.
In spite of, not because of, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's really. Well,
Mm.
so you had a jump start on a lot of these things that people kind of either grow into or have some dramatic experience, usually in their adult life. So it opened up all these doors for you, and you did accept this life.
I
So are
don't.
you glad you
I,
did?
yes, but I don't want to do it again. That's why I'm so dedicated. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to stop it and go on the wrong turn. I'm right
Mhm.
to the end flawlessly.
Good for you. Sounds
Because
like
it's a difficult, we're in an ascension timeline, and so there's like all of these polarity constructs that we had to shift and clear and cleanse, and missions and work that we've done to get to this point. And it's been a lot, but now we're into like an amazing time. But definitely want to let Francesca have a chance to introduce herself. And
yes. We're going to move to Francesca right now. So Francesca, tell us about you.
Hi. Um, well, ever since I was young, I was very mystical and I always had a foot in many realms. And I spoke to angels and guides at a very young age. I could interdimensionally see a lot of things. I just didn't realize that I was different or that everybody didn't have a whole internal dialogue and whole team and collective of different angels, guides, and galactics. And I was very empathic, so I could really feel what everybody was feeling always. And I was really good at reading people. And as I got older, my gifts grew and I became a psychic channeler. And that's where our story begins with me and David. I met him through Facebook, and he was also a channeler. And there's not many of us. Um, especially most of the channelers are famous. So, you really can't contact them and have like a support group of channelers. So it was amazing to meet someone as talented as David. And we became quick friends. And I saw us working in the higher octaves together. And that's where I got the outline for the book. I saw us working together, and I can watch it just like it's a movie playing. And I just wrote everything down. And he's like, yeah, it looks good, we'll do it. And it was divinely guided, so it really flowed easily to us, and it was a lot of fun. We loved it.
That's wonderful. And you've got all of these different tips and tricks, and what do we need to do? So can you think of some of your favorites that you can share with our audience in terms of how do we access this energy? How do we draw it back into us so that we remember who we are and that we're able to create the life that we want?
Well, it's all about vibration. You definitely have to work on raising your vibration as high as you can get it every day. And we talk in the book about creating sacred space. It's huge. And sacred space isn't just something you want to tune into when you're doing rituals. You want to make it a way of life. And it's all about the energy that you feed into yourself and the energies that you tap into within self. So I started by becoming vegan because I wanted to eat live food that came naturally from the womb of Gaia, because those live fruits and vegetables, they're going to vibrate the highest out of anything that you eat. And then I started having energetic boundaries with people. I love everybody, but you do not have to inundate yourself with negative people and energies. You can send them love from afar, and you don't have to surround yourself with that. And also, what's huge is we watch a lot of negative programming. We've been conditioned and programmed by society, by the things that we watch. And I stopped watching all media, negative media, and I started reprogramming myself with only positive things and surrounding myself with positive programming, positive books, positive people, positive situations. And then I started going into the higher octaves within myself and was able to align with God energy, and keeping that is my main focus.
So what she's basically saying is the guides, the angels, the Elohim, a lot of the galactic races, like many of the Pleiadians, Arcturians, Syrians, they're in higher frequencies. And so when you raise your frequency up, it's much easier for messages and connections and love-based connections to occur. These higher realms, a lot of the documentaries out there right now usually are supporting these weird negative ET agenda things that are working with the government. And yeah, that is going on. But outside of the government, there's love-based ETs that are working with humans to raise their consciousness up, because we are in a time of ascension on Earth. And when you are raising your frequency or vibration and doing these very positive things, you're coming into a heart alignment, a frequency alignment with things that are in like higher dimensions, that are of purity, that are of love, like Lumerian beings. And this is where Earth is ascending into, is into this love base. And so the vibration is definitely, and we cover these things like inner work, inner alchemy, and releasing like this life and past life traumas, which will shift you up like faster than anything. And we talk about it in the book. And but ultimately it's the frequency, the inner work, the sacred space, connecting your pillar of light, which is this channel directly into the heart of God, basically. And these things, like these higher expansions and higher frequencies, it's sort of like an evolution. It becomes like we're not just human, we are God pieces of God souls. We're our souls are a piece of this God soul where we're all one, and we are this. We're not humans. We're basically God inside of a human body. And then it's like, wait a sec. So now what can God do inside a human body? And that's the question. What can you do? But it starts with letting go of the programming, like Francesca was saying, and coming in to your higher
And
frequency.
it's easy to say that, and we would all love to be able to do it easily, but it's a bit of a challenge because we all have bills to pay. We have things that need to be taken care of. We have people knocking on the door saying, you need to help me with this or that. There's a lot of this physical matter challenge that goes on every day. And so, what do you suggest to do with that?
Choosing yourself, choosing your love, choosing your joy, and setting the boundaries of like what Francesca was talking about with not allowing toxic energy. Just is toxic energy, whether it's a partner that is abusive, verbally, physically, emotionally, you have to state that you're not going to accept that energy. You're not going to accept that in a relationship. And it's self-love and saying no to that and insisting on that. And if it continues, then you have to leave because it is abuse. And honestly, people who are being abused are not in their heart, and they're not because they're being tormented and they're not happy. And so you got to get out of situations that you're not happy in and go into situations that let you be in your divine voice, let you be in your heart energy at peace, where people respect you, where people want to listen to you, where people want to support you, and align with the positive influences and only allow that even in your relationships by having these boundaries. And because when you say no to somebody because they're being they're condescending or they're being insulting, they're being negative, they're being abusive, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to your heart. You're saying yes to your life, your rights, and your sovereignty. And that's what this ascension is about. It's about coming back into sovereignty, coming back into your heart, self-love, because then you can fill yourself up with love. Then you have a cup where you can pour out and make this difference in your life and in other people's lives and have this enriched life, which is, so we're going through a paradigm shift in relationships, the relationship with ourselves, and then the relationships with others. And so it just, it takes a little bit of time, but when you in every act that you do to forward your consciousness, to read a chapter in a book or buy a book or watch a consciousness show or go online and join a Starseed group and be inspired or join the Divine Ray app is what you should do, because it's just like, it's literally all high vibrational social media. I created it. It's only positive people with positive messages. There no one's selling anyone's information. There's no targeted ads. It's just like, very good media for our community. And when you do that, it's an act of self-love. And every act of self-love is going to perpetuate just this beautiful love to come into your life. You'll never ever regret it. No matter, and you don't need to it doesn't interfere with your bills or anything. So it's just.
Where do they find this app? Where would we find that?
That is in the Google Player and the Apple App Store, and so you can download it for free.
Okay, very good. And yeah, I find communities are very helpful when we can join together and do things like that. So it's a safe space, and we all need that. So that's wonderful. So in terms of your book and what you're offering to people, do you have any stories that you can share with us of people that you've worked with or people that have contacted you after reading the book and said, this is what changed for me? Because I know our audience loves to hear about that.
Yes.
I know Francesca is going to go on this one, but before she does, I just want to mention that the people who are like in our peer groups are some really advanced and people who are just beginning their journey. But even the really advanced people are blown away by the information, as are the people who are just starting out. But Francesca, you can, if you want to go into that.
We've had a lot of people reach out to us. We have a lot of reviews on Amazon of people that really love the book. And they said that they could actually feel the vibration of the book when they opened it, like holding a crystal in your hand. And it's really funny because David, he has a great story about how the angel vibration came into the book when he was channeling one of the chapters. And a lot of people have said that that was the biggest thing. They say it just like supercharged them just by holding the book in their hands. And we have a lot of people in the community that said it's the best book that they've read for guidance for spirituality, because it really simplifies all the things you know to help you on your ascension journey. Because as a collective, we're going through the greatest consciousness shift that the planet has ever seen. And this takes you chapter by chapter ways to align with your God self. And what better way to align with your God self than taking your sovereignty back by activating your spiritual gifts? Because we house all energies inside of us. And it's all about tuning in to the energies that you would like to see projected in your world. And that's what this book does. And we have a lot of people saying how much it's changed and amplified their life and made their life more abundant in the most beautiful ways, and in ways of expanding the heart. And I think it's empowered a lot of our friends to step out and start actually making spiritual businesses as well. I've seen that a lot occur from there, because we take you step by step, like how to do readings. You know, some people just don't know where to start.
Well, that's it. A lot of people don't know where to start. So you've created a map, which is really easy to follow. So that's excellent. So tell us how the angel came into the book. How did that happen?
Oh, that was crazy. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm on chapter 8 at this time, and because how it worked, so Fran would send me like say like 4 chapters where she wrote, and then I would add my part, and then she'd send me another 4, then I'd add my part, and then we'd blend them together. So we got a nice feminine, masculine perspective throughout the process. And so we get to chapter 8, and I'm just putting in, and I actually can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, oh, this is really cool, because this is something that I teach in my classes that I do and stuff. I have courses and everything, and like nobody knows this, so this is really neat that I'm putting this in there. And then all of a sudden, this big white light over my shoulder appears, and I could see it. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's just the channel coming through. I'm continuing writing because I'm really in the zone here. I'm going in. But then there's like angels start flying around in my basement at this time. And so now I'm combination of typing and looking up, then typing and looking up. And I'm not totally like not used to that. So but then it was like 30 of them flying around, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely different. And then I stop and I look up, and this huge archangel is towering, allowing these angels to come through, is huge. And I'm like, what's going on? And he said, and I'm pretty sure it's Archangel Gabriel had Gabriel's energy, but he said, we're just really excited you're putting this in the book. And then as he said that, all like the 30 angels that were flying around in the basement, like shoot into the screen, go into the book, and like injected the heaven frequency in it. And I was just like, what?
That is beautiful. Yes.
So when that happened, I thanked them for their blessing and everything, and it was a thing for like 10-15 minutes. Like this was like a serious event going on in my basement, and it was just, my mouth was dropped. So then after it happened, I called Francesca up. I'm like, you'll never believe what just happened. And I this is just because you don't have like these kinds of moments, like even like somebody like me who's had a lot of galactic contact, a lot of angels and stuff. This was a big activity, like a big active moment of paranormal contact, because there was just so many angels, like 1, 2, that, yeah, cool, and then you channel them, you talk to them, and it's beautiful. This was like a whole legion of angels, like 30 of them flying around. That was never happened to me before. Nothing like that.
And you
Even
didn't
our
know
editor had problems reading the book for long periods of time
oh,
because she would get blasted with upgrades. And me and David, we had a really hard time reading it back
I
too because
know. Because every time we edit it, like we're going through upgrades because the energies are so high in the book. It
oh
was kind of
gosh.
funny, but so it's like one of those books that by reading it, it will actually open up your gifts and and expand your heart frequency and everything too. So it's kind of a two for one.
It sure is. It's alive. I mean, you've
Yep.
created a live energy within the book. So
Mm.
that's really exciting. That's more reason for people to buy this book because it is actually offering an energetic shift just by reading it.
definitely.
Yeah, that's
And
wonderful.
it's cool to know. I think it was about the part where I was talking about the guides inside of people and how everybody has these angels inside of them and how to connect to them and stuff as well. And I think that was the part that they got super excited about.
Yes. And you both had galactic contact. So with the same beings, or do you have separate events to share about that?
Maybe you want to start, Fran.
I'm like an airport for beings. I have constant different beings channeling for me, and it's not just like galactics, it's angelics, it's mother, father, God, it's everything you can think of. I mean, I've had Marilyn Monroe, Shakespeare, like just anything that wants to come through. I'm an open channel as long as it's for the highest and greatest good of all. You have to set parameters, and I've set energetic contracts in this life where only the highest and greatest um, good beings can come through, because I'm trying to raise the consciousness and vibration of the planet. So all negative, lower density beings, I definitely have had experience with that, but I send them right back to the light, to come back as a higher love energy if that occurs. But every day, I have whole a whole team of energy beings inside of me, and my coolest one that I have right now that comes through is a star being called Australia. And she comes in and she gives me like cool messages and energetic upgrades all the time. And I'm actually, me and David are in the process of writing our second book.
Oh,
So she's
good.
giving me all the channelings for that second book. So it's fun. It's awesome to be in high vibrational energy, because you have the coolest messages that come through, and you have a fun life because you always have a party going on inside of you. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love people, and I talk to people all day long, and I do healings and everything on people, and I love people, but I can entertain myself just by sitting here. My feet are on the ground, but my consciousness is in omni dimensions and interacting with omni beings. And I think that as a collective of eternal source creational beings that we all are, we're all getting to the point where we're going to all be able to interface with these higher dimensional energies and beings. Me and David are just evolved because we've worked with our vibration for so long, and
Right.
it's so important to us for world peace and for everybody to be empowered and come into their gifts.
It is really important. And again, not the easiest path because a lot of people have past imprinting that's very negative, and it's hard for them to let go of that and continually choose the higher vibration. But again, that's what this book is all about. And that's what you guys are
Mhm.
helping people with, which is wonderful.
Yep.
So, David, what about your experiences? Because you talked about the galactic beings, and we love to hear stories like that. So,
Yeah, they
more.
are so amazing. Honestly, like what they have access to is a soul signature database. And the soul signature database is every soul that has ever existed what species, what planet, and it tracks your soul wherever you go, from life to life to life. And so these extraterrestrials actually know who you have been in other lifetimes. And when it is beneficial, they will show you. Otherwise, what they tend to do is activate these really special energies that exist inside of you from other beings that you have been. Like most people just don't think. They just think I've been a human. I've lived on Earth, and they don't think beyond that. Well, you likely have been on a million different planets and a million different species, and in this system alone, there's a whole variety of different beings that you can be. But to give you an example of one cool encounter that proves that, like, the ETs for sure are on Earth, and ones that I've physically met that were wearing a human suit body projection. I think it was a holographic projection that make it seem like they were human, but they had shorter heads, and they were bopping, almost like Men in Black, like ETs, and they're bopping as I'm walking past them, and they're like, hello, hello, and it was a man and a woman, and I'm like, hello, but as soon as I turned towards them to say hello, it was like time stopped, and they mended with my mind, and they showed me this one of my most prominent Earth past lives, and it was the most amazing thing. And then I looked at them, and it was like I could see the ETs inside, like they were skinnier, it was like they were wearing a suit, and it was and this like they were awakening within me this special energy, and they wanted me to know, and they also wanted to meet me. I guess I was important to them at some point, and so it's like that's like direct contact. That doesn't happen so often, but I can tell you, like, the spaceships themselves, like a really cool story. When I started getting into a lot of like the celestial consciousness, and I was connecting to different planets, and I would astral travel, and I'd connect. I did some crazy mission this one day, and it was really huge activation for the Earth. I remember that much, and I brought in some like really, really high frequency energy from one of these planets. I think it was Sirius A, I think. And the Syrians, their frequencies are just incredible. And then what happens? Well, I got someone's attention on Sirius because this mothership appears in my backyard, the size of a football field. At first, it was cloaked. And then it showed itself, and then disappeared. And I had to wait a sec, and then it appeared, and then cloaked. And I'm like, okay, I've seen it twice, so now I know you're there for sure. So I'm like, look, you don't have to cloak. Like, you can just show yourself, and we can have maybe a discussion or something, and you don't have to hide. And so then it sat revealed, and it was about 30 feet in the air or so, massive. And so I started walking towards it, and these 3 triangle ships flew out of it, with these 3 yellow Syrian beings, and they formed this triangle formation right up to me, and it was like they beamed onto me, and they did a further awakening in my DNA, and so they were opening up specifically for my consciousness, and they gave me this huge download of knowledge, basically. And shortly after that, I started channeling all of this ancient information and created courses about ascension. So I know I have this tie, but that's like one example. Often one of the cool ones, so that everybody can look forward to, because everybody's like, well, what about me? When am I going to have experiences? So right before,
do you really think everybody is open to that? I mean, I don't think a lot of people are necessarily on the right frequency for that, and might be afraid, because you guys are a bit different in that you're not afraid. So with you, Francesca, when you're contacted by these entities, your perceptions allow you to determine who you want to talk to and who you don't, and you're safe and you feel safe. And you too, David. But a lot of people are scared because when I look at these videos, for example, on TikTok or YouTube, when people happen to catch something big and unusual in the sky, they're always screaming. I can't stand it. Oh God, just
Yeah.
turn off the sound. But that's a lot of what happens to people is they get so excited, they get so afraid, and so they're not open to really any communication like you guys are.
But they are opening though. And so like this year, there's going to be hundreds of millions of people who actually wake up this year, and this great forward in consciousness happens. And so the plan is, because yes, like the dogma of extraterrestrials is horrible. And to be honest, from what I know, the interacting extraterrestrials that have been working with the government are not very positive, and the government should not be alliancing themselves with these beings, but they have, because they wanted to get technology, because they wanted to advance, and they made really poor decisions on what they were bartering with, and they should have never have done that. But
I agree.
these are the negative ETs, we'll call them that. The majority of the extraterrestrials are in the love frequency. And before I came on today, and I'm going to be very quick about it, because they wanted me to say this. The energies coming in now are in love consciousness. And what that means is it's going to be like an infectious, where people are going to start becoming more in love with their life, more in love with friends, more in love with meaning, more in love. It is an in love consciousness. And we are shifting from a closed heart system to an open heart system. So we are letting go of the fears. We are letting go of the worries. In the open heart system, as this happens this year, and it comes online this year, it tells the matrix that we want a different reality, and things start changing in a very positive way. And so it's not to worry, it's not to fear, it's to empower yourself to be in your joy, happiness. But why they're talking about that is because the reality is changing as this awakening is happening, and we're hitting this tipping scales point. And this is why the energies are becoming better and better and better, and they're just going to, like, we won't even recognize things in a short period of time. So that what the ETs, like the Octurians that came to me, and in right before the end of the year, they said in 2025, there's a whole alliance, the Octurians and all of the Palladians, the Syrians, the Neptunians, the Plutians, all of the beings are working together at this point for this shift that's happening on Earth, and they're going to provide positive experiences. And then people are going to form groups, and they're going to start talking about these positive experiences, and we're going to get out of the propaganda of what has happened because of these negative ETs, and we're going to start experiencing the positive ETs, and this is going to change everything.
Well, that's exciting. It really is.
Can I add to that?
Yes, please.
I wanted to explain to everybody, you know, how you said not everybody's ready for it. The way that they communicate for the most part is telepathically, interdimensionally. So they're not going to just come at you out of the sky if your heart is not open for them. But if you know you're feeling a little bit open to it, they'll come in a little bit and their energy will channel through you. Like, and they're so positive. Like, people should not be scared. They should be welcoming the energy. Like, for me, when I had started my journey of my God alignment within, the Pleiadians came in and they actually pulled out my false conditioning for me. I could feel them. Yeah, I could feel them taking me into energetic chambers, and I have all my clairs on, so I could see, sense, feel everything playing out in a movie. There were times where they put me in a beauty chamber and like I couldn't move, And because they were working with my vibration and my energies and pulling out the things that did not serve me. And every time my guides come in, they're activating gifts. They're giving me keys. They're giving me codes, different doorways and access to different dimensional things. For my books that I write, I'm writing children's books too. And, I'm given all these things from the galactics, and people shouldn't be scared. I'm 42 years old, and they put me in beauty chambers, and, they help to, reverse aging on you and, keep you vibrant and keep you in the very best energies. People should be open to it and welcoming it.
Well, we are.
Yeah, heck yeah.
When did you start getting involved with this element? When did you feel chosen, or things automatically happen to you? Did they happen from a young age? How did you progress into this?
When I was young, I was interdimensionally taken every night, and I didn't know what was happening. And, there was different places I'd be taken to, and I was meeting with like all the galactic groups. And, I kind of blocked it out, but memories would come back to me. I'm sort of like a galactic liaison for energy, having energies stream through me so that I can ground them into the earth grids for everybody. So I'm actually like a portal that is actually raising the vibration of the planet through me. So all these different galactic groups were giving me gifts, presents, and energetic upgrades ever since I was little. And it happened ever since I can remember, but I couldn't tell my family this, because they'd be like, what the heck are you talking about? You're crazy. But with me, I think this happens to a lot of people, but they go insane. Like when, you are in the presence of too many galactic groups. But for me, it was just like all positive experiences and making me vibrate higher. And, I've lived through it to tell people that, you need to reach inside interdimensionally and listen to, the messages that are coming through, because it could be your angelics or your awesome galactic ancestors, your Starr family coming through to give you all these presents.
Yeah, they give you presents because that's the one gift that you will take forever. You get to keep it. You get to bring it to the next life. It becomes a gift and activation. And so they give you these gifts because they are the most meaningful thing that you can ever get, because it's literally the only thing that you do get to take with you after this life is your soul, your consciousness, what you've expanded, of course, the memories, but the advancements of your consciousness. This is why the galactics are like 100% all about consciousness.
Yeah.
and peace and helping and assisting.
Right. But Francesca, did you have any support in your family? Was there anybody else in your family, in your lineage, who had this gift?
My grandmothers are healers, so they could like touch you and like take your stomach ache away. My grandma, like my aunt had colon cancer, and my grandma like took it from her and got it. My sister had something with her thyroid. My mom took it like upon herself. My sister and brother, we both could see ghosts and stuff. And just everybody in my family is just very in tune to the mystical side, but there was no one really that had the level of seeing that I could see. Like my family can see through people and read people really well, but like no one that was really, seeing these different galactic beings. So really, I kept it to myself until I met other people that I could share my stories with, because I'm really good at reading people. So I'm not going to like go up to someone who's like a born again Christian and say, oh yeah,
You'd have to run.
I'm interacting with galactics and it's so much fun. They're going to be like, devil juice, give this girl an exorcism, So I can tell who I can say what to, because I can read people so well.
Well, as you spoke about this, then your family was also involved in some capacity. prior? How far back did this go in both of your lives?
With my family, with like the healing gifts, everybody in my family, like they're super like that. Everyone that I know in my family, especially on my mother's side, they're very gifted spiritually with just the healing abilities.
But
And
how far back did this go? Are you
I
aware?
would say my great grandma, my great grandma, they would take curses off of people. So I only knew my great grandma, so I know it went back as far as that.
It's incredible to see how some families are gifted in that, and the lineage just it comes forward and it continues to grow. And do you feel that you are well in tune to the point of being past where your relatives of the past had been?
Oh, definitely. Definitely out of everybody in my family, I definitely have done the most spiritual work. It's just sort of natural gifts for them. They really didn't work at raising their vibrations or really tuning into the gifts and really exploring and expanding them. So it's a way of life for me. Every day is like awakening. Yeah.
That's why I wondered how far back it went. And David, what about you? Was anybody in the family ever involved prior to your situation with your brother?
Oh, well, not my brothers, but my sister, my mom, and my grandfather had different psychic abilities. And it was actually me eavesdropping on a conversation with my sister and my mom when I was 17, which spurred what was the craziest awakening within me, because they started talking about this white light that was all around people. And so I started playing with it in my room in my basement, and it started shooting out of my hands into the heavens. And that was it. I got the attention. I was getting visited by galactics, angels, and that was the beginning of like some very interesting experiences.
I can imagine so.
Yeah.
So both of you have had your family participating in some form with all of these things. That's exciting.
Yeah, I think it does help. But I do also think we come in with certain like soul groups of people that are likely to support our journeys.
Oh, yeah. Do you have children?
Yes.
We both do.
And do they have this gift also?
Yeah, I can tell my kids do, because my son can see energies, and my daughter is like an angel incarnate, and so
Boy.
it's amazing. Yeah.
And Francesca, what do you have?
My kids, they're ascended masters already. The one, he never wanted possessions. He came into this world. He made us take like all the stuff out of his room. He has no attachments.
Wow.
To anything.
She was mine.
I know
Makes it easier for Christmas, eh?
Yeah, it is, because he really wants nothing. And I would hold him, and everybody that would hold him would fall asleep because his vibration is so zen and soothing. And to be around him, he'll say things. He's not a child of many words, but when he says things, I write them down because he's my teacher. He teaches me stuff with everything he says. And the other one, he's definitely a leader, and they were raised consciously, knowing that we are all eternal source creational beings. So there's a lot of power that comes with that. They walk to the beat of their own drums. They're not going to be peer pressured into things, and they know their worth, and they already have boundaries. So we broke a lot of generational curses with them, because in my family, a curse we have is we never would say no to people. Everybody in my family, we have a big Italian, loving, warm family, and everybody, it's yes, yes, yes. And with them, they say no. They have energetic boundaries because they saw me in life just being taken advantage so much, and my energy being drained by other people, and they tell me they see it. They're like, that person's draining your energy. You should not be talking to them. Like, they give me advice.
Now, your partner, the parent, the other half of the family unit, are they into what you both are into?
I don't have a partner anymore. We're in the divorce process because I was evolving and he was staying the same, and he really was not supportive of me doing this, because I think that he was afraid that I would give too much energy to other people, and he didn't, he wanted me to be about just the family unit and not be on mission and, supporting everybody and their mother, which I do. So, I'm always helping people, but when you have a divine calling, I'm called to help people. And I think it's a good example for my children to seeing service to others. But him, not that he was a bad person.
No.
He just, wanted me to the kids and himself, but I had a bigger mission to complete, honestly.
It's harder to share when someone has a bigger mission.
It was the same thing with me. This major divine alignment came in where I went through a separation, and they're like, get to work. This is the time. Find the starseed groups. And it all happened within months. And like, it was the craziest thing. But there was a point when I turned up my work to 1,000%. And then they were giving me dreams. They were guiding me, and they were telling me I was going to become a channeler. And then, of course, they were training me. It was the craziest thing that, like, even with light language, they would wake me up in my sleep at Saint Germain, teaching me how to do light language in my dreams. And then he was there when they would wake. He woke me up. And then he would explain, now say it, now do it, now do that. So light language is like the language of the light, of frequency, of like the heavens, basically, and it can really is super powerful. And so like it was just a constant training for me, preparing, because it's like, what is happening on the earth right now? It needs a lot of feet on the ground, or hearts on the ground to bring this forward, and to like, because we got to start thinking of ourselves as a collective consciousness, and realizing when we start pooling together into our gifts, then all of these new things come online that we're going to be able to do. It goes back to the times of Lemuria. And if anybody doesn't know about that time, it was before Atlantis, and it was a time of love-based reality. Right now, this love energy that was in Lemuria is cracking open in frequency and coming into our planet. And Lemurians were able to shapeshift. They were able to bilocate and like teleport, manifest anything. They could turn into mermaids, or walk on the land. But they were in love with everything. They were in love with the earth. They were in love with the trees. They were in love with all the animals, and they would talk and they would speak, and animals would land on them like birds, and they'd have the most, and they also were able to go into the ascended realms and come back. There's a whole other realm above earth called the ascended realms. But anyway, it's basically like that is coming back now.
And that's what we need. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm getting messages
time
from our producer, Bill. Saying,
shame on Bill.
I just want to make sure that people know how to get in touch with you. And also to buy your book, which is Your Higher Power, Accessing Your Divine Gifts. You can get it on Amazon or in bookstores. Fabulous book. Two fabulous people dedicating their lives to helping all of us and the earth. Thank you so much. You're doing a wonderful job. And where's the best way to get a hold of you? Is it your website?
Francesca?
Yourhigherpowerbook.com has all of our websites linked to it. I have francescarose.com if you want to do individual readings with me or spiritual counseling. And David has all his websites too, linked to Your Higher Power book. He has consciousness programs, the only ones like them on the planet. his Divine Ray app, where he's linking all of the highest vibrational people on the planet. Definitely sign up for that. We're doing a Mount Shasta retreat, but it's sold out next month. And we'll be doing more retreats in the future.
Great.
People to access their gifts.
Yes.
Very good to know.
Thank you both so much. This has been wonderfully enlightening. It's great to meet you both. And again, thank you.
You too. Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Yeah,
Thanks
and
for having us.
For us
to
and
have
our
you
audience
back
as well.
and hear about your new book and all your latest adventures.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Take
we
care.
will be back next week with another great show. So until then, we'll see you all on the Blue Highway. Good night.
Good night.